So I believe, and I continue to learn in my life, that desiring what God wants is very difficult. Let alone desiring what God wants to me is impossible if it is not rooted in a deep relationship that you're pursuing with Jesus. Because I believe that if it's not like that, then it is impossible to want what God wants. I think about John 10:10, right? When he says the enemy comes to kill, steal, and destroy. Like, it's terrible. But then Jesus says, but I've come that you may have life and life to the fullest. That God wants you to have life in him, but also to enjoy life that's around you for the moment, because it is all based and tethered to Jesus, meaning that he gives you satisfaction and fulfillment as you live every day of your life. And so when you tether to Jesus like that, then you want what he wants for you. But it's extremely difficult when you're not pursuing a relationship with God wholeheartedly, not listening to the call of the Spirit, not moving in such a way that is approving of God. If we're not tethered in that way, that is impossible to want what he wants. Matter of fact, even as a Christian, I would even argue that it's hard to want what God wants because we can't see what he wants all the time. Therefore, we're like, oh God, well, I want to go this way because this career path is better. Or God, I want to have more money this way. Or God, I want to do this ambition. Or God, I want to live this way or buy this thing. And those can be right and healthy in their proper context and in their proper time. But when we start to do that a lot more, instead of listening to the voice of God through whether God is speaking through the mind or through other people or through some nature or word that you're reading, it's like, I don't want what you want because what I have is good. But God is like, I have so much more for you. And that's the difficult part, is because we think we know what we want. But God's like, oh, I have so much better. Right? You are just processing or hearing through your eyes and thinking with your feelings. And God is like, no. Let's do this a little differently. I want you to want what I want. And what I want, Jesus would say, is the best for you. And I have the best for you. But we have to quit getting caught up in what we think, what I think is good for me. I think about this passage in Mark chapter 8, verse 34, where it says, if any of you wants to be my follower, meaning if you truly want to follow me, then you must give up your own way. Meaning you got to give up everything you have. Whether, man, it could be tangible, money or financial. It could be all of, but just giving up your way, wanting what you want. Give that up and desire what he wants for you. He says to give you up your own way, take your cross. Follow me. Follow me. That's all he asks. He ain't asked you to do anything else but to pick up your cross and follow me. Now, the text carries on because I don't want you to lose this. He says, if any of you try to hang on to your life, you'll lose it. Right? The things that we want to clasp and hold on to real hard, we'll lose those things. Because we're putting more weight on those things, right? We're making marriage, we're making friendships, we're making sports teams, we're making, and I'm not dogging these things, we're making career choices and opportunities and things you want to do. We're making those idols, and therefore we don't want to let them go. But God is like, hey, if you would follow me and you pick up your cross daily and give up your own way, then if you hang on to that, you'll lose it. But if you give up your life for my sake, Jesus' sake, and for the sake of the good news, the good story about him, you will save it. And then he says, and what does it profit a man to gain the whole world but lose his soul? Is anything worth more than your soul? This is what Jesus is asking in verse 37. So, To want what God wants means to follow him and give up our own ways, our own ambitions and desires, right? And be tethered to Jesus. Because then in the midst of that, God is not saying, hey, you can't do anything fun or you can't be ambitious, but make him the center point of the decisions and the things you choose to pursue, right? Because God will guide you in any direction. But wanting what he wants has to come from having a purpose-driven relationship with Jesus. It's the only way. Otherwise, it is impossible to want what God wants. So my challenge to you listening on the other side of the screen is to want what God wants, even if that has to cost you a lot.